Greetings, everyone, and welcome once more. Hi, it's now Dracovin here at the Dracovin Empire. We're diving into the world of darkness. Are you ready to learn about another tribe from Werewolf The Apocalypse? I hope you are. And, grab your claves, get ready to fight some silver, and keep an eye out for that moon. We're diving back into the world of darkness right now. And also, just remember to be, subscribe, comment kind of things as we get started. I gotta remember to say that at the beginning. So, the Fianna. It's supposed to be pronounced that way, but every time I say Fianna, I feel like it's not correct. It's this weird thing of me saying it that just fills me with strangeness. Anyway, who are they? Well, we can talk about some sources that I can tell you that you can help to look into these. The Fianna Tribe Book and Tribe Book Fianna, there's different generations. And then the basically core rule book and player's handbook for any of the various editions will give you a basic idea of the Fianna. Newer ones will give you a better idea about how they evolved, but combined together, they come up with the culture. This is their symbol. Remember the Garou Nation, the totem's the stag, and they're strongly based in Celtic and European traditions. Amongst Garou, and especially the Garou Nation, they are known for their passions and pleasure of life. But still have skills and ferocity in battle. They keep music, stories, and lore of the Garou. That is a job that they feel like is important to them. If we look into their early history, well, there are a number of legends associated with them. Where did they come from? One legend tells that they were born from the passionate union of a Galliard and a Danu, an aspect of Gaia which can be seen as the mother of both the Fianna and the Tautha de Dana, basically the predecessors of the changelings. That the Tautha de Dana would give birth to the Kithkin and Kiths. There are other stories that tell that the Fianna were actually part of the Worm, corrupted people known as the Firbolg. One of the Firbolg who repented and dedicated himself to Morgana, a house within the Faefolk, was formed, until they left their home behind to protect their kin. In turn, they lost their power to return to the homeland and would form the Changing Breeds as they are known. Basically, the Fianna have a bunch of these lore stories, and which they tell. Basically, they're the only ones that can recall their origin accurately. In the earlier days, though, of known history rather than legendary history, they were a fractured group of smaller tribes or bands. They all followed the stag, but associated primarily with their own types of Celts, their kinfolk. In Gaul, where it would become France, were the Hounds of the Hornborn. In the mountainous areas of Europe, there were the Sky Slingers. In the Balkans were the Night Claws, and most predominant of all, the Fierce Ones, also known as the Fianna, were the Western Isles of England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Those Fianna were known for their closest ties to the Fae, and fought against the legions of the Fomorians, which they identified as some sort of worm beast, as well as the rise, in fact, of the Fomori, which Fianna named in honor of their ancient nemesis, in what was known as the Fomori Wars. It was during the rise of Rome that the Celtic Garou were finally unified. Ard Reg Elm of the Red Claws, a warrior of the Fearsome Ones, brought all the Stag's children together under one banner. And in this, combined with the fact that the Fierce Ones of Erie have never lost their land, Ireland is still undisputedly Fianna, they made the tribe known to the other Garou as Fianna. Basically, hey, we've got this, we are the core of this group of individuals that are united together as one tribe. We're the ones that have kept our homeland when others of our kind have lost. And so the tribe, more as we know it, was formed. Now we head into the Dark Ages. Fianna have a few good allies in history. And we're destined to lose them. The White Howlers, the Gallo of Pictish descent who ruled Scotland all the way that Fianna ruled Ireland, were an example of this. In an effort to take the fight to the Worm, the Howlers marched down the Spiral Labyrinth and forever left Gaia behind in their minds and were corrupted by the Worm's domain. When they returned to the lands of the mortals, they were twisted into the Black Spiral Dances, a tool of the Worm. So yeah, one of their basically greatest allies became the Black Spiral Dances. They mourned their loss of these, the White Howlers, and another one of their tenuous allies turned against them. The Get of Fenris seeing the weakness in other tribes, set their sights on the Isles and began a war which would last 400 years, ending with the Battle of Cointaff in 1014, when Brian led Celtic armies in defeat of the hordes of Vikings, Fenrir kinfolk, and Irish mercenaries. Brian Bormio united all Celtic tribes of Ireland under one rule and became what human history knows as the first and last true Ard Beg of Ireland. He took the name Brian Boru, meaning Brian of the Tributes, when he became the High King after his brother Manon was murdered by Viking assassins. He lived up to his elder brother's prowess and went on to produce one of the largest clans in today, the Clan O'Brien. To this day, the Fenris have yet to succeed in claiming any of the Cairns in Ireland. A treaty with the Silver Fangs ensured that no Fang would ever claim Cairn on Ireland, while the Fianna would in return accept the sovereignty of House Wintersnow in Britain. Around the 14th century, the Fae left the world behind. As humanity encroached more and more on the world, the magic that kept them alive lessened, and the Fae fled through the gateway to Arcadia in order to keep them more immortal lives. The Fianna aided them in the best of their ability, though they would retaliate against any Fae that would abuse their hospitality. During the reign of Cromwell, the Fianna were hard-pressed not to aid their kin, as English troops relocated them to Connaught. During the conflict, Tara became under assault, but the Fianna managed to defend it, with House Wintersnow lost its prominence after disastrous defeats at the hands of Black Star dances. The Fianna returned to England and claimed multiple Cairns as their own. So yes, driven from those lands by many other groups, eventually was able to reclaim them. Now we head to the Victorian Age and, of course, modern age. Many Fiannas immigrated to the United States during the Great Potato Famine. Relations with the local pure tribes were and are strained, and most Fianna taking any unprotected Cairns on apology. During the World Wars, the remaining Fianna fought to protect their homelands, which were often assaulted by servants of the Worm, who used the war as cover for their activities. In the early 20th century, Ireland split in two. The country of Ireland won its independence from British, but Northern Ireland remained property of the Crown even now. The king of the Fianna in the northernmost counties in Iran now led the vicious campaign between the Irish Republic Army and British forces, as well as Protestant paramilitary groups still loyal to the Crown. And of course, the Garou of that area have also been dragged in the fight. The European Fianna found themselves unavoidably drawn into both the First and Second World War to the threat they presented to their cairns and operatic advances of black style dances. With only a few across the Atlantic from America getting involved in the First World War, packs shipped off in large numbers to fight the European theater in the Second. While cairns of Ireland, those in Royal England, were undamaged during the war, the urban English cairns were all but destroyed by German bombings during the Second World War. With the extension of industrialization following the war at a couple of positions, they were never re-established. In the turn of the 21st century, the tribe said enough is enough, mostly because of their leaders of the Brotherhood of Hernay's death. When Malcolm Wormmocker Sutton died, the Brotherhood stopped playing in kinfolk politics. The troubles have died down as far as Garou are concerned, and involvement now is on a case-by-case basis. This change made, which is basically explained in Tribal Fianna Revised, due to the fact that after the destruction of the World Trade Center on September 11th, the right decided it would be a tactless to trivialize the deaths that have occurred due to real-world conflicts by heavily including it with the Fianna canon by simplifying politics. So basically, hey, werewolf stuff happened, and they were like, we had kind of written the Fianna into not being involved, and so they rewrote them. So if you've got the furthest, earliest editions of Fianna, they're very outside of the world of man. Now they're basically when it is needed to be involved with kind of thing. It's a better look for them. Real conflicts occur, and, basically, okay. They don't want to simplify politics involved, basically, where they use Fianna canon and stuff like that. I think it's a very interesting. Anyway, it's just, things happened. They basically did some rewrites that sounded very nice. Let's talk about some of their basic culture and how they're organized, basically. So they are a lot more extroverted than a lot of other Garou. rarely turning down an invitation to let their hair down and indulge in pleasures. Music and craft being used for creativity is encouraged and prized among many of them. Some of the most beautiful and fantastic treasures of the Garou are created by Fianna. They're romantics. They fall for humans and Garou alike. The latter creates menace, like any other forbidden werewolf encounter, but even though they were conceived through expressions of love, the Fianna are particularly hard on menace as they view as deformed bodies as a direct reflection of their minds. They're not against the act, they just don't treat things great afterwards. As they are organized, they are into different septs under the leadership of Arai. Arai is an advisor by the Council of Song, usually comprised of galliards and third mages. Arais are independent, but also acknowledge war leaders as more powerful septs, as their betters. This leadership continues up to the most important sept at Terra, which is led by Ardvik, nominally the leader of the entire tribe. However, his claim doesn't carry much weight outside Ireland anymore. All Reegs, with the approval of the Council of Song, select a Tennyson. If the Reeg fails, a Tennessee serves as their successor, and they can pass the test of the Council of Song. This prevents conflict within a sept during a time of war. Sometimes the Tennessee of one sept is Reeg of a smaller sept. So basically, they would join together should something happen. Major cairns denote that they do have control over a sept of the Lunar Forest, shared with the Get of Fenris, set of the Tri-Spiral, Brogue na Bani near Leicester Island, Ireland, sept of the Winter White Water, Goat Island at Niagara Falls, shared ownership of the Lieutenant. Let's talk about politics. Because an important part of being a Fianna is fostering. A young cub is put under the superstition of an older one, usually bloodline. The Fiannan has to teach the cub everything they know and how to properly conduct themselves in society, Garou society. They divide themselves according to 3 lines. Warriors, in most cases Ireland and Ragabash. Bards, comprised of Galliards and Ragabash, as well as Druids, who includes Theurges, Philodox of Ragabash, and Galliards. There are also some camps under them. I'll give some basics of these camps, but I won't go to too depths of them. The Brotherhood of Herne, the tribe of Rapid Reaction Force. Known as the tribe's Rapid Reaction Force. It's made of Aurhuns, with a few other auspices mixed in. It started out as a means of sharing resources when a battle against newly formed backspire dancers was at its worst. So, yeah. The numbers aren't the same in the 20th century. The Brotherhood still serves its purpose. Come to the rescue of a cairn in need, basically. The Children of Dire are primary Fianna protectors and defenders of the wild places of the world. They're made entirely of Lupus Garou and kinfolk. They're sparse these days, when the influence of the Weaver has spread unhinged throughout Gaia. But at the farthest reaches of the world, where the wild still reigns supreme, you can find these. The Grandchildren of Fianna is a camp that is one of the most famous in Fianna. It is the Grandchildren of Fianna, named for Fianna Mac Cumhel, kinfolk and war leader of the human Fianna. This camp is the most popular of the younger members of the tribe. They go out seeking adventure and battling the worm where they can find it. They travel all around the world seeking glorious, honorable, and wise tales to tell about their exploits. However, even their mighty warriors often leave the camp in favor of a warm fire and good kinfolk at their side. So, with their fame, this camp often brings any Garou who truly knows its tenets. Easy when so many youngsters gain choice. The Mother's Fundamentalists are the most unpopular camp within Fianna, not just to other Garou, but to the rest of the tribe at large. They wish to bring back the Imperdium, and it would seem as though no matter how many times they're put down by the world, they just keep coming back. So, yeah. They want to see werewolf control. The Songkeepers have the right to claim legacy as the oldest, with only the grandchildren of Fianna who could possibly dispute that claim. They are what everyone thinks of when they speak of Fianna. They're lore masters, storytellers, one who decides themselves to keep an oral history alive, not just their own tribe, but the whole Garou Nation. It's not just galliards. Theurges seek out to learn rites. Making sure none are lost as the apocalypse approaches. The Philodox preserve the ancient wilderness of past judgments. They're even Ragabash amongst their numbers in the camp. So it's basically, the important thing is they've learned and share knowledge, not just with Fianna, but with all of Garou. The Telth de Fianna camp has made it their trade to bolster good relations with the Fae that are left of the world. They're diplomats between the two groups of beings that otherwise probably would not get along. The Fae have problems with Garou, and the Fianna that they are likely to get. These are the Fianna that are likely to do if they have a problem with Garou. Garou has a problem with Fae, well, more than that, they try to handle it themselves. So, yeah. Trades are tricky, and so, dealing with them. And then the Whispering Rovers are camp primarily made of Homid Garou and some Metis. Very few Lupus are in this group, for the Lupus Garou tend towards the Children of Dire, who are very similar to the Rovers. These Garou give up houses and kin to travel the world, much like the Shine Striders of Egypt. The Fianna of this camp are not always well received by the Garou, primarily because they tend to show up unannounced and within spitting distance of bombs, though they seem to do better in the United States than they do in Europe. They're scouts, spies, and messengers, eyes and ears of the tribe. Let's finish up today by talking about the religious or spiritual beliefs, the culture of Fianna. So there are 3 virtues that they believe in: hospitality, generosity, and bravery. And these traits, according to them, put themselves apart from the rest of the Garou Nation. Now, they do believe that some deformities mirror some spiritual corruption also, which is an important thing to say. So that's why they shun Metis, because physical deformities match spiritual deformities. And also, should you be maimed beyond Garou's healing powers, you also are to be avoided. They want to live free of flaws and live free, basically mirroring these 2 things: free of spirit, free of physical flaws, because they are connected. Now, we're going to talk about anything when it comes to the spiritual religious beliefs of Fianna. We have to talk their 4 major festivals, their 4 holidays, each one matching a different time of the year, different season. Now, most of these are specifically celebrated as Fianna. There are sometimes some tribal sets that make up multiple tribes that will celebrate them, especially if they have an alpha uncharged sept that is Fianna. But normally speaking, these are particularly individual Fianna rituals. Let's talk about 4. Symbolic. This is the thank heck it's over celebration. It honors basically going from winter to spring. In the original days, because the land was really undeveloped, the cairns had a lot of wilderness around them, winters were harder, and those that lived through them had to live through that hard. So coming out of that hard season, we have Symbolic, a return of the world. Plants and animals of Mother Nature are coming back. This is normally when the birth of a lot of new kin are in the world. Basically 9 months after a different celebration, Belfry, talk about it. A lot of times, Garou and kinfolk give birth to the next generation of the tribe during this time. So it's a time for rebirth, for celebration. Speaking of Beltrain, yeah. Many would kind of call this May Day. It's basically when spring becomes summer. It's the passions of the tribe are full deluge. This is when the last of the old year's brew is shared, and the first of the new year's as well. Most of this time, this is when most children and puppies are conceived than any other time of the year. Basically, because this is a time to turn to love and getting together. It's also the time to traditionally challenge for the right of sept or any other position within it. So, this is the night where you can make free challenges. If you want to be in charge of something, challenge freely at Belfry. This is the time that Fianna feel the most alive. Good fights, good drinks, good lovers, and they might even invite sometimes the fair folk, changelings along to the celebration. Usually only friendly, seely ones, of course, but reality, if Fianna are throwing a party, and their connections to changelings, satyrs are probably going to get involved. So, yeah. Next we have Lug Nasa. I might be butchering that one a little bit. This is actually the most sedated of all the parties that they have. It is still a party, mind you, but, you know, it's one of those things is Fianna, as a whole, like a good excuse to have a good party. But just because it's a good party doesn't mean it's not maybe a reasonable sedated party. Belthrain is wild, is passionate. Embolic is a time for refreshing joy, turning summer to autumn. Refreshing joy. And this is the season of turning summer to autumn, which is a little more sorrowful. And it's basically to keep the spirits up. It's to make ready for the time of winter. Food and drink is shared as they talk about what has been done, what is yet to do. Younger packs may take up a more direct route, keeping up the spirits, as they call it, where they turn into a wild hunt, taking out as many worm creatures in one night as possible, basically honoring their ancestors by defeating creatures. And finally, Samhain, All Hallows Eve, Halloween. Yes, it's the same name as the celebration we know as Halloween and the Samhain, which came before it, that led to that, but Fianna do not celebrate this the way that humans do. This is the turning of seasons from autumn to winter. So it's the last chance to basically party hard before snow comes, and a lot of creatures of Gaia slumber. It's the real feast of battle. And it's most oftentimes this night that the tribe is called to fight. The gauntlet thins greatly on Samhain. But the things that come through are not always the type that Garou would really want to come through into our realm. So, yeah. It is said that there was a story that Fianna once fought against some Fae on Samhain night, standing guard over a fairy mounds of the Sihili as unseelie forces tried to destroy them. Nowadays, stories such as this don't really exist. It's more like Banes or worm spirits might pop in, taking advantage of the thinning that happens during this time period. Or maybe even servants of the Weaver, trying to fortify the gauntlet, make it too tough to travel through, because it's, again, you don't want the gauntlet gone, but you also don't want it so tough that you can't travel through it if you need to. You have to keep it in that right area, so you don't want the worm spirits destroying it, you don't want the Weaver reinforcing it, you gotta keep it just right. But yeah, there's Fianna. I hope you enjoyed learning all about them. They are an interesting tribe, as they are really interesting both spiritually and because of their nature and connection to the Fae, in a way, and changelings, but also because of what they are. Lovers of music, stories, lore. They are connected to the essence of art when it comes to the Garou Nation. And still doesn't strike them away from being great fighters. Every Garou still is. But they are as much a warrior poet as anyone would call them. An artist who also can put down the brush and pick up the sword when needed, so to say. They are ready for a fight, but they keep their traditions and their passions alive, and they do have a deep passion for life and all the greatness it brings. That's, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it here today. Remember, do all the great things to check out the channels. I have schedules that I put up online. It tells me my Twitch schedule and the YouTube schedule. Those are mostly correct. Just keep in mind that life things can happen that can kind of shift things around. I'll keep people informed on my Discord and Twitter. Twitter.com. And those are my social media link below. Remember, like, subscribe, ring the bell for YouTube stuff. Remember, if you're over on Twitch, you can follow. All those great things. So just do the general basic support. It helps the channel greatly, and, you know, helps me. Anyway, as I'm kind of going blurry my camera here for a second, maybe I'm swearing a little bit. I'm going to get going and hang out with Twitch a little bit. Maybe do some more videos and stuff. But until the next time we hang out, talk about Werewolf or anything else, I bid you a deep and wonderful farewell.